What's up, everyone? With my channel, I am DJ aka Black Guy New here for the first time. Hit that like button, subscribe button. So this is my little review of episode 4 of The Last of Us. Another solid episode. Really enjoyed it. Still think last week's one of the best episodes in history. Just acting alone. This episode we kind of picked up where I left off. We got Ellie and Joel. They're traveling to Wyoming looking for brother. We start off them at a gas station. Ellie finds a joke book. While he's siphoning gas, and they kind of have some banner back and forth. You see them kind of building their relationship. Yeah, the joke book on some fun. They did the scene when she finds the magazine in the car and throws it out the window. Then they are traveling. They get to Kansas City, I believe. Roadblocks. They have to go to town. The QZ is abandoned, looks like, and they get jumped by some people and believe they are the hunters. So basically we see where Joel gets jumped and he kills 3 guys and he's wrestling another guy. And Ellie has a gun that she found in the last episode and the guy. Joel finishes him off because he's begging for his life. And then we flash over to hunters, I believe. And that they have this leader. I don't remember her from the game at all. I'm not sure about her. She's kind of real timid. I don't know how she's leading that group or whatever. But they start looking for him and they're going from room to room. And Ellie and Joel are holed up in the room and they wake up to 2 individuals standing over there. Play the game, you know who they are. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode. Really like it. I know they're changing some things, but I still believe they're staying true to the story. I like the fact that we're finally seeing Ellie and Joel build a relationship. Even had them laughing at some point. That's a big part of the game. Their arc and their relationship. And Ellie's starting to get a little better. She's loosening up, and same with Joel. So really enjoy it. But now we're going to go over to New Rockstar with Mr. Eric and Eric Voss and check out the Easter eggs and breakdown that we missed from the past episode. Like I said, a long time since I played the game, so I'm vaguely remembering some of the things from the game. I had not gotten rid of my PlayStation to go back and replay it before the season started, but it is what it is. So let's see what we missed. The little Easter eggs that they had for us. Here are we.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of The Last of Us Episode 4, Please Hold My Hand, which proves Ozark right that only the worst people come from Kansas City, Missouri. Hey, I'm not saying it. Prestige TV is. Let's break down all the Easter eggs, references to the games, and interesting details that you might have missed. And please subscribe to New Rockstar's new channel, The Deep Dive, launching February 17th with a slate of more investigatory analyses of titles you love, like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Also, this shirt is our Last of Us inspired Look for the Light shirt that you can get at Nerd Riot.
That shirt, that's not bad.
We open on Ellie in the bathroom, aiming the pistol that she got from Frank's drawer at the mirror like she's
1080p.
Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver. This gun is a Beretta 70 series lightweight pistol, which the game developers modeled Ellie's gun on. But she coddles this gun. She's not completely clueless, but she's romanticizing the weapon and not really treating it with the respect that she should. Like Travis Bickle, Ellie is more concerned with her appearance as a hardened killer than the actual weight of that responsibility. Also notice she is in the men's bathroom here. She's fully masculinizing herself. Now, I'm not gonna waste your time with some mirrors or portals, high school English bullshit, because, you know, not every mirror in every TV show or movie means the same thing. Literally, symbols are only important to the context in which they're presented. In this context, it's more interesting to talk about the practical purpose of mirrors, because mirrors are one of many luxuries this world has less of now. Remember, Ellie toyed with the truck's side view mirror to find Joel eyeing her reflection last episode, and it's really the mirror and Ellie's reflection in it with the gun that is more of Ellie's fascination than wielding the gun itself.
Mrs. the Kid.
While Ellie also acquired from Bill and Frank her iconic red shirt from the games, the green plaid shirt that Joel changed into after his shower was actually the same shirt Frank wore on the day of his and Bill's argument in episode 3.
Did not realize
Joel
that.
was siphoning some gas.
Nice. How does that work?
It's a siphon. It's when liquid travels against gravity because
Pressure.
You don't know.
I know it works.
Another example of Joel not really understanding air pressure. The front door in Bill's house slammed on its own because Bill had left the bedroom window open. But actually, Joel siphoning gas is a nod to Bill in the game, who tosses him a siphon and says that you'd be amazed how many cars still got
I wish
gas
they
in
would have
them.
got
Ellie reads from
that
Will
scene,
Livingston's
but
No Pun Intended Volume 2, which is one of Ellie's belongings in the games. It's one of the things that you cannot open yourself, but Ellie in cutscenes does read from it. The cover here is the same cover from the game, with the cow saying, "Oh no, not an udder one," and then the duck
Did
saying,
not realize
"These
that."
buttons quack me up." The one that she reads
It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary.
is actually the first one she reads in the game.
It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary.
What is that?
It's a joke book. No Pun Intended, Volume 2 by Will Livingston.
There's also some pretty precise accuracy to the game with the
Yeah, this
porn
thing-
magazine that Ellie finds,
Yep.
which is the exact same bearskin
Oh,
cover,
wow.
same model pose, same text, Men in
Yeah.
the Jam, college hotties, Ace Von Champ, and Ellie making the same jokes.
It's not for kids.
How do you
Ellie,
even walk around with that thing?
please get rid of it.
Hold your horses. I
That
want
was
to
funny.
see what all the fuss is about. Why are all these pages stuck together? I'm just f***ing with you.
Whoa! How the hell would he even walk around with that thing?
I mean, they went line for
Hold
line
your
with that.
horses. I want to see what all the fuss is about. Why are these all stuck together? I'm just f***ing with you.
Now, in the game, when Ellie tosses out the magazine, it lands in front of a Pittsburgh sign, but because this episode takes us beyond Pittsburgh, there is no sign. The cassette tape that Ellie finds that's before Joel's time is in the game Hank Williams' I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive, but here it's Hank Williams' Alone and Forsaken, which is a darker folk song about finding love in the summertime just for that
See,
love
that's
to
what I'm
leave
talking
him
about.
by
They
the
keeping
fall.
some
And the
things
chorus
part
of
of the
song
game,
is a
but also
prayer.
doing
Oh
their own
Lord, if you
stuff.
hear me, please hold to my hand. Oh, please understand. Hold to my hand, the inspiration for this episode's title of Please Hold My Hand. But in this case, the woman who left us here is really the America that we once knew. And the fact that it left us, though, not the worst thing. The amusement park they pass is actually Worlds of Fun near Kansas City, Missouri, and that roller coaster is the Mamba, a ride that opened in 1998. The roller coaster is made of steel, explaining why it would still be intact mostly. They drive past some bison and the westward expansion across the United States with the railroad. In the 19th century, many species of bison were hunted to extinction
That's
by passing
crazy,
train
man.
travelers, shooting them for sport. But here, we now see bison herding peacefully by the highway. They also pass an Arby's, recalling Frank's comeback last episode.
And this is not an Arby's.
Arby's didn't have free lunch. It was a restaurant.
Then they pass this collapsed train bridge. This is an actual bridge in Lethbridge, Alberta, and notice how a train stretches across it, a car dangling off. Now, if the world shut down not too long after Outbreak Day, that probably would have been too soon for the bridge to corrode naturally and collapse on its own. So either this train was warmed back up years after Outbreak Day and the bridge then collapsed, or maybe the government bombed this bridge to stop this train from reaching a nearby city.
be.
They pull off the road to sleep in the woods with no campfire to avoid being spotted by people, as this series in this episode is adding to the danger of infected, the danger of humanity.
People
what
are
do
always
they
the
do,
most
Ramos?
dangerous thing.
Well, they'll have way
Other
more in mind
people.
than that.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, Joel tells her this to give a stern warning to not wander, but later as they try to sleep, she brings it up again.
Those people you said. There's no way anyone knows we're here, right?
Never know.
No one's gonna find us.
Never know.
No one's gonna find us.
So Joel regrets scaring her, and so he stays up all night to keep a lookout with his rifle. He is doing for her what we assume Bill did for many nights for Frank, letting his partner sleep while he keeps watch. That's why the coffee the next morning is so essential for
Yep.
Joel. Ellie crawls over to it, cocooned in Frank's sleeping bag. Episode 2 depicted her in a larval fetal stage as a butterfly flapped over her head, and now she's in the cocoon phase
She's
of her
metamorphosizing.
Now, Ellie's roadmap has a red marking for an area east of Pittsburgh, which again is supposed to be the next stop in the game, but here on the show they bypass it.
76 west and then 70 west for like ever.
I-70 does go forever, from western Pennsylvania to Columbus to Indianapolis to St. Louis, then to Kansas City. Joel recaps what happened with Tommy, how Tommy was a joiner who enlisted to fight in Desert Storm, and then after the outbreak formed a crew that moved to Boston and joined up with Tess, and that worked until Tommy met Marlene and then joined the Fireflies, and then quit the Fireflies and moved to Wyoming. Ellie asks,
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on? I mean, you gotta try, right?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. You keep going for family.
Exactly.
That's about it.
I'm not family.
No,
Your cargo.
your cargo.
You're not family yet, but you will be.
She was like family.
I think think Joel secretly by now sees Ellie as more than cargo, but he doesn't want her treating him like a father yet. Ellie claims she's tired, but we jump cut to her out like a light as they pull into Kansas City.
Every
now,
kid's
Pittsburgh
like
to
that.
KC is a 13-hour drive, which would be more if they have to stop every hour for gas. I don't know, maybe it's late enough in the year for the days to be really long, and when they arrive to Kansas City, it's late afternoon, but we know this is one day because later Ellie says it's her second day in a car. So Joel must have been flooring it the whole way. Either way, our man is exhausted. The tunnel
when
to
you ain't
Kansas
got
City is
traffic.
blocked by a Sara Lee bread truck. Damn flour, always ruining everything. And one of the cars is a burnt corpse inside. So these drivers might have been torched to prevent potential infected from getting into the city. They get lost in the city.
Is the highway.
I can't tell from this. I'm all turned around.
Well, don't look at the state map. Look at the
I
inset.
don't know where we are in that either.
Since Kansas City is on the border of two states, Missouri and Kansas, Ellie would really need to look at a scaled-in city map, not a state map. Now, they pass a cinema playing Matchstick Men and Underworld, both of which released in the month of September 2003.
I don't remember
and yes,
Matchstick
that is
Men.
the Globe Theater of Calgary in Alberta, Canada, where they shot a lot of these outdoor scenes. Now, in an alley is a burnt pile of corpses, and you can actually see their skulls intact, which Joel explained last episode means that these people were killed without being infected, which is bad news. They find the QZ vacated, though, and Joel immediately sees it's a trap.
Are we gonna help him?
No.
As we saw in the pilot episode, Joel does not stop for anyone.
I mean,
Later, he
it ain't
tells Ellie
heartless,
how he
but
knew it was a
survival.
trap.
I've been on both sides.
Both.
It was a long time ago. We did what we needed to survive.
That explains why Joel doesn't pass any moral judgment on these people. He doesn't really take anything personally. They do take things personally, and that's why Joel is able to execute here. He's all business. They crash into a laundromat where they get holed up by gunfire.
They're not gonna hit you. Look at me. They're not gonna hit you.
Yeah, pretty confident words considering everything
Yeah, right.
is exploding around them, but Joel called his shots earlier this episode.
What if you don't find him?
I will.
How do you know?
I'm persistent.
So Joel takes out one of the hunters, which catches the other by surprise.
I would.
I like that we hear these hunters in the background, but we never cut to them in close.
I would've shot him right there when he helped
The
him.
game where we stay
When
with
they
Joel's
told the
point of view,
military,
have
it's
to
like
listen to all
take
these
out
NPCs
3
cussing you
guys with
out.
one
Taking
bullet.
care of yourself is important.
Shoot
So
the
good
one
thing
guy, it's gonna take
geology
3 guys to
makes it
carry
easy
him
to
out,
do.
so you're
Geology
eliminated
is a
from the
16-time
fight.
award-winning person description. The younger hunter gets the drop on Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we really get a sense of the rage of these hunters. They aren't NPCs, they're people who are reacting to Joel killing their friends and relatives. And Ellie shoots
y'all-
this kid, but it's not
y'all
really like the
jumped
moment
him,
from the
so
game
what do you
where Ellie
expect?
uses her gun the first time to shoot that guy off Joel when he tries to drown him in the hotel. This is a much more sadder, more human moment. We don't even
Yeah.
see the bullet hit. We only know from the kid's bloody hand that she got him in the butt, and he panics.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's over. We're not fighting anymore. I'm gonna go home. I'll tell everyone you're good. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, this isn't a Walking
sad.
Dead savior who's evil to the bitter end. This is more like Mellish's heartbreaking death in Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, I
this kid is
forgot about
begging for his life,
Yeah.
and he tells him his name to try to make himself harder to kill, which is one of the first
Make him more
things
human.
Frank did when he met Bill.
First, my name's Frank.
Yeah.
Brian.
You gotta humanize yourself.
What's your name?
But it doesn't work, and Joel kills Brian. But not with Ellie's Beretta, but with a knife. And actually, learning Brian's name gives us more info later when the other hunters arrive. From here, we cut to a former Fedra prison facility where there are bullet holes and bloodstains on the walls, showing us that this place was taken by force. The hunter's leader is Kathleen Melanie Linsky, a new character created for the HBO series. She
Okay, so she's
interrogates
not
this
in the game.
doctor.
I couldn't hear.
Quests. No.
It seems so
Mark
timid and
Anthony
passive to
Halpin.
me.
Carrie Schreiber. Haven't seen them. The Chans. Henry Burrell.
Mark Anthony Halpin is actually a nod to Craig Mason's friend and a known puzzle master, Mark Halpin. Craig Mason is a huge hobbyist when it comes to puzzles and things like that. A list of names reminds us of Hans Landa's interrogation at the beginning of Inglourious Bastards when he lists the names of Jewish
That's a
families
good
who went
movie.
into hiding. This is often what happens when a new military force violently takes over and wants to root out all the families they deem disloyal to the new regime. But as Kathleen reads the Federal Rights Board, medical attention, family visit, food, and clothing, she reveals these as false promises from an old guard that she suffered under.
I wonder if this is the cell where my brother was beaten to death.
The doctor tries to clean his hands of all these war crimes.
It has to stop.
It has to stop now, you mean?
Now, I know I just compared Kathleen to a Nazi character. She's also similar to a Mossad agent hunting down doctors who work for the Nazis. She wants revenge, all the evil that hurt her loved ones, to never be able to hurt anyone ever again. And that includes guilt by association. So she wants to find Henry, whom she believes ratted on her brother to Fedra, and the doctor won't tell her where Henry is. He thinks she's bluffing.
I'm your doctor.
But the hunters bring back the people Joel wounded and killed, and we see that he stabbed Brian in the chest. An arguably more merciful wound than, I guess, cutting his throat. At least this gets to be an open casket. Kathleen asks,
Will he live? What if I had a doctor?
There's no chance. I'm sorry.
and I love this moment. Immediately, we see Kathleen go back and shoot the doctor. She wasn't asking with hope that she might save these wounded. She was asking to make sure she had no further excuse to keep that doctor alive. Kathleen is not thinking about the long-term health of this community. In her mind, they're facing a more short-term threat, and she's more focused on revenge. Kathleen links these hunters' death with Henry, speculating that Henry radioed Joel in, and she uses this to justify sending the hunters out to the homes of every collaborator to kill them. This is a pretty big logical leap, and it's crazy that it works. It just shows how afraid and how nuts these people are. That's the American way, folks. Now notice how their trucks were former Fedra, but the logos have been crossed out since this group overthrew Fedra. These are hunters that we meet in Pittsburgh in the game, and this group is not Fireflies. They actually turned against the Fireflies too after they overthrew Fedra. On the newspaper, Joel peeks out through. There's a headline about Powell, presumably referring to Colin Powell, who was Secretary of State in 2003 and made a lot of headlines for his UN testimony when the US invaded Iraq earlier that year. There's actually another one behind Ellie with the headline, Iraq cost $3.9 billion a month. Huh, you know, the way Bush used 9/11 to invade Iraq is kind of like how Kathleen uses Joel killing a few hunters to wipe out all the political enemies in Kansas City. Despite
this
these
happened
two
in
things actually being unrelated,
2003.
it's human nature, folks.
So this happened in the middle of the Iraq War, so a lot of the military wasn't even in the States at the time. If you think about it.
First time that you hurt someone.
But American was probably a weekend at home. I didn't think about that.
I'm not good at this.
Yeah, you really aren't.
Joel apologizes, saying that Ellie shouldn't have had to shoot him. Ellie cries, but she reveals why.
It wasn't my first time.
Yeah, Ellie isn't crying over shooting Brian, she's crying over some past person that she hurt. Joel teaches Ellie how to hold the gun with two hands, thumbs interlocked, which makes it harder for her to drop the gun when it recoils or if someone were to try to grab it. Now, Kathleen's lieutenant is Perry, played by Jeffrey Pierce, who plays Tommy in the games. Jeffrey Pierce actually said in the behind the episode feature that Perry has a past in the military, making me wonder if he was a former Fedra soldier who turned on the rest of Fedra and helped Kathleen overthrow them. Maybe he was a witness to Kathleen's brother getting beaten to death. He takes her to Henry and Sam's hideout with Sam's drawings of a superhero on the walls. Both Henry and Sam are actually drawn as superheroes. And notice, as Kathleen first enters this attic, one of the superhero's foes is a Fedra soldier in blue uniform and riot gear. So really, Henry and Sam's enemies are the same as Kathleen's enemies.
Yeah.
Perry then shows her this caved-in room with a floor that pulsates from beneath, presumably some infected below. I'm gonna talk more about what's going on here in Spoiler Corner. After climbing 33 floors, Joel spreads some broken glass.
I don't want someone sneaking up on us while we're sleeping.
Oh, I get it. Crunch, crunch, crunch. You sure you're gonna hear it?
Of course I'll hear it. That's the damn point.
Again, this has all been one day. Joel got no sleep
Yeah,
the night before because he was
he's
guarding
exhausted.
Ellie. He then drove 13 hours.
Got in
and
a
they
fight.
crashed. Then he had to shoot two guys. And then he was nearly strangled. Then he stabbed that
My
kid.
man
and then
tired.
he climbed 33 flights. Our
My man
is
tired.
56 years old.
My man tired.
And it wouldn't wake him up after this exhausting day. But Joel asked Ellie about the first time she hurt someone, and Ellie, for the first time, doesn't want to talk about something. Ellie then deflects, saying Joel doesn't hear too well out of his right ear. But you know, that's also the side that was facing her in the truck during their drive. He might have just been ignoring her, but Joel doesn't deny it. He attributes it to years of shooting on that side. And Ellie's diarrhea pun relaxes Joel enough so that he can fall asleep. And he is now turned toward Ellie with his watch facing out, his father-daughter connection returning. But Henry and Sam have found them. Sam perched on Joel with a superhero mask painted on his face. And we end the episode with a gun in our face, reminding us of Ellie back in the first scene pointed a gun at the mirror. But in this instance, Sam correctly has both hands on the gun, signaling to Joel that this kid doesn't need him to teach him how to kill. Okay, on to Spoiler Corner. Let's talk about that cave-in. This likely was above the sewer, which in the Pittsburgh section of the game that these episodes are relocated from is where a group of survivors
they're kind of moving things around in the game.
Infected. But since the Bill part of the game is where you meet your first bloater, and we didn't see a bloater,
This is gonna be a
episode
bloater?
3, I am guessing the trailer shot of the bloater rising up from a hole in the ground might be coming next episode, and a bloater might be among the sewer runners and clickers that are going to be crawling up through this building. But also, remember, this series is suggesting that the fungus's fibers grow deep beneath the ground and snake through the soil, and are all connected by a network. Based off of the world's biggest organism being in Eastern Oregon, a single fungus that spans like 4 square miles.
Crazy.
So
The documentary talks about that. That thing is crazy.
Helped tunnel beneath this ground to free the infected underneath. It's one big patch of cordyceps all working together to release more of these drones. We'll get to know Sam and Henry next episode, so there's no need to say too much about them, other
Yeah.
than the show is really
We know what
connecting
happened
them
with
more
them.
to these hunters, that there's some history between Henry and Kathleen, whereas in the game, Henry and Sam arrived to Pittsburgh after coming from Hartford and don't really have that much of a history with the hunters. And of course, the question, who did Ellie hurt? Well, Joel and Ellie's chat wasn't about shooting someone, it's about
I wonder they're
hurting
gonna have
someone.
her
So
shoot
maybe
Riley.
Ellie might just be alluding to some survivor's guilt over Riley getting infected. We know Riley's undermined. The Mortal Kombat 2 game, there was a reference to Left Behind when Riley told Ellie about an arcade game. And of course, this joke book was a joke book given to her by Riley. And then remember back earlier in the episode, there was this moment where Ellie looks up at the night sky, which could be setting up the moment from part 2 of the game when Joel takes Ellie to a space museum for her birthday and gives her an audio of an Apollo launch so that she can imagine space travel. This girl, from considering a truck a spaceship, someday she will be able to sit in a real spacecraft. Hey, by the way, I have been wearing Joel's iconic Flint and Tinder wax canvas trucker jacket from Huckberry. You can buy your own by clicking the link in the description, and that'll support New Rockstar's Last of Us coverage. Another reminder to subscribe to the Deep Dive. You can follow me on Instagram.
Oh, another good breakdown from Mr. Eric Voss. Like I said, I'm really enjoying this series. It's probably one of the best game adaptations to a TV show, game adaptation, or movie. I think obviously they're changing some things, but I still feel like it's staying true to the essence of what Last of Us is, and I'm enjoying it. So let me know down below if you played the games, what you think about some of the changes they have, or if you have not played the games, what do you think of it overall as a show in general? I'm enjoying it, even though I played the game. I'm trying to not trying to take myself out of playing the game and just point it as a show for what it is. And I'm next week. Almost halfway through the season because it was 9 episodes, so about halfway mark. But yeah, till next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe button, and I will see you when I see you. Peace.